Good afternoon, guys. So in last class, we have seen entire overview mechanisms and basic details, pharmacological parameters about the beta-lactam antibiotics. So for the continuation of the chapter, today in this class, we are going to see about the individual drugs. So in last class, we have seen the classification, then important about the structure, chemistry structure, what is the necessary skeleton, thiazolidine rings and beta lactam rings. It's very essential for the antibacterial activity. Then what's a mechanism? So it's going to inhibit the cell wall synthesis by inhibit the penicillin binding protein, that is none other than transpeptidase enzyme. So our antibiotic penicillin is going to bind with the transpeptidase enzymes. Through that, it's going to inhibit the cross linkage of peptidoglycogen layer. So because of that, the cell wall has become weak. So easily the organism is susceptible for the cell damage. It's lead to death. So it's a bactericidal effect. It's mostly effective on the gram-positive organism. The effect is based upon the time dependent. The time dependent between the duration of action, exposure time. So then we have seen the major adverse drug reaction, anaphylactic shock. What is anaphylactic shock? What is the treatment mode? Then how it's going to resistance? What is the resistant substance? Important things are beta lactamase enzymes. What is the beta lactamase enzyme? How is going to inhibit? So how we can overcome that issue? We can use the beta lactamase inhibitor, suicidal inhibitor, clavulanic acid and sulbactam. So it's going to inhibit the beta lactamase enzyme. Because of that, we can inhibit that mechanism. That means beta lactamase mediated resistant cases we have blocked. Then apart from that, we have seen how to improve the therapeutic efficacy by retain the penicillin. We can use the propansid. It's going to accommodate the penicillin in a tubular secretion method, because in this method only penicillin is going to eliminate from our body. So it's going to accommodate the penicillin in tubular secretion. So instead of penicillin, propansid is eliminated. So we can retain the penicillin. We can give the better therapeutic effect. So those things also we have seen. And for the continuation of this one today, so I am going to detail about each and every drug, at least one drug from each class. Otherwise, some important drugs we have discussing in this class: exact pharmacological effect, then pharmacokinetic parameters, and specific ADR side effects, and the spectrum. All those things we have seen in this class. So it's broadly classified. Penicillins are broadly classified based upon the chemistry, otherwise organism. All those we can classify in different manner. So most predominant and accepted method, it's based upon the route of administration, because we know that it's a natural medicine. First generation penicillins are, it's available in parenteral route, because it's orally. Once we are administered, means it's going to degrade by our gastric acids. To overcome the issue, the second generation drugs are, it's prepared, otherwise modified into acid labile nature. So because of that, penicillin is converted into to resistance against the acid resistance penicillin. So those drugs is administered through oral. It's produce same antibacterial efficacy. So the better method is we have classified based upon the route of administration. So based upon that, it's classified first parenteral penicillins. Yeah. Parenterally used penicillin and orally used penicillins. So it's a major classification. In sub-classification, they are divided based upon duration of action, otherwise specific unique nature. So in parenteral classification, they are classified into the based upon duration of action, short acting and long acting penicillins. Sodium penicillin G, potassium penicillin. Simply it's a penicillin G. Salt only is going to different. For long acting, they are add some other substitution, procaine penicillin and penicillin with aluminum monostearate, PAM. So it's just a modification of the natural penicillin for increase the duration of actions. So these are the two categories. Subclassification comes under the parenteral penicillins. But in oral classifications, it's classified on the penicillin's resistant, penicillinase resistant. That means beta lactamase resistant penicillin, broad spectrum based upon the organism efficacy against the organism. It's classified broad spectrum penicillins. Then acid resistant penicillin. So it's classified on the different criteria. So first one is phenoxymethyl penicillin, claxicillin, oxacillin. These are the broad classification. The next one is particularly beta lactamase against beta lactamase resistant penicillin. That means those who are drugs, it's effective against even the penicillinase enzyme. That is nothing but beta lactamase enzyme. Those drugs are, it comes under this category: ampicillin, methicillin, claxicillin. These are the three major drugs. Next one is based upon the susceptible organism. So what are the drugs is having efficacy against the broad number of organisms? Means it's called as broad spectrum antibiotics. So those are the drugs is comes under this category. Okay, the best drugs, famous drugs are ampicillin and amoxicillin. So remaining drugs you have to memorize that, otherwise at least you can write at least 2 or 3 drugs from each category. The next one is acid resistant penicillin. Name itself is going to denote these are the drugs. It's resistant against, that means resist against the acidic nature. That means these are the drugs are prescribed into oral administration. Actually this is a true second generation drug. So these are nothing but it is addition of phenoxymethyl and phenoxyethyl group. So they are adding some basic nature so to resist against the acidic conditions. Okay. So next we are going to see about the first drugs, natural penicillin, penicillin G. So guys, here onwards, you know the one basic thing. You can understand one basic concept. Here I am not going to explain about the mechanism, because entire class of drugs, even this penicillin and next cephalosporins, different types of penicillin, acid resistant, broad spectrum, narrow spectrum, all those things, carbinums, monobactam, everything, the mechanism is same. Mechanism wise nothing difference. Only the difference in spectrum. Some of the drugs is effective against some specific organism, gram positive, otherwise only on gram negative, otherwise both the spectrum, broad spectrum, other these are the things is differ. Then pharmacokinetic parameters, one is short acting, one another one is the long duration of action is there, high protein bounding nature is there. Then apart from that, it's having some specific adverse drug reactions. So those are the things only I have tabulated, that means I have mentioned here. So apart from that, the mechanism is unique for entire class. So I didn't mention any mechanism for individual drugs. So whenever you are going to write in examination, you must to write in mechanism. Okay. So because I already explained all those things, that's why no need to write all the mechanism, same mechanism for entire each and every individual drugs. So you can see here, this is available in first route of administration is available in IV and IM. Because it's available, it comes under the first generation drugs, it's available in only on parenteral administration route. Then drug of choice for against some specific organism, particularly the meningitis, that is meningitis organism. Okay. So this is a drug best choice for meningitis conditions. Then duration of action wise, the penicillin, procaine penicillin is having a 12 hours action. Benzathine penicillin is having a 5 days action. So based upon the substitution, the duration of action has been a difference. Then normally the TF is 60 to 30 minutes. Around 60% of the drug is going to bind with plasma protein particularly albumin. So the 60% of drug is going to bind with albumin. 90% of the drugs, around 90%, around 90% of the drugs, it's eliminated through tubular secretion. We know that already, we have discussed already. So the next adverse drug reaction here, important one, penicillins may produce this penicillin G may produce serum sickness and drug fever. Apart from that, it's another one unique adverse reaction that is called as Jerry's hexamer reactions. So we know that this penicillin, first generation penicillin, it's used on around 1970s area, 70s to 80s. That time most of the syphilis cases there, that time that is the only life saving drugs. Otherwise only the drug of choice for syphilis condition is penicillin G. Those cases, those who are person is affected with syphilis, that time if you administer the penicillin means it's going to eradicate, otherwise it's going to destroy the organism. When it's going to destroy the organism, the same thing, cell wall mechanism is going to affect. So the cell wall is become weak, so it's going to damage, so cell is going to death. We know that concept. But the intracellular constants, the organism is having some intracellular constants, we know that it is called as endotoxins. Okay, so that endotoxins material, once the cell wall is damaged, the bust out, so intracellular constants, that means endotoxins material, it comes to the blood circulations. So that's a reason, due to the sudden release of the lytic product, the cell lysis product, it's released into the blood circulation. It may cause the shivering, fever, myalgia and lesions, and even vascular collapse. That means blood circulation is collapse is going to happen. So this is the reaction, it is called as, this entire phenomena reaction is called as Jerich's Herxheimer reactions. It's mostly occurred for only for primary and secondary syphilis patient, those who are administered with penicillin G. So for this scenario, you no need to stop the therapy because it's having only one drug of choice. So that case you can go for some additive drugs, aspirin and sedative, to symptomatic relieve the this symptoms. That's only choice. Apart from that, it's produce hemolytic anemia, neutropenia and pancytopenia. Nothing but it's a blood cells count is going to fluctuate. Okay, so therapeutic efficacy wise, it's effective against the various conditions. It's used for anaerobic conditions, meningococcal, staphylococcus and streptococcal infections, diphtheria, syphilis, actinomycosis conditions, and tetanus case, rat bite fever, anthrax, various infection. Particularly you at least memorize 4 or 5: diphtheria, syphilis and rheumatic fever, gonorrhea and valvular heart disease. These are the 5 at least. Here you can write the meningococcal also, you can at least you can write 5 to 6 applications. But what is the problem here? It's a narrow spectrum, it's effective against only on gram positive organism. The second one is not effective orally because it's administered only through IM. So acidly if you administer oral means it's going to destroyed by our gastric acid secretion. And susceptible for attack the penicillinase enzyme, resistance mechanism. Once the organism is produce the penicillinase means it's going to lose the efficacy. And also it's having a high risk of hypersensitivity. We already seen that it's a fungal product, it may produce the allergic reactions like anaphylactic reactions, means that's one of the critical conditions. So these are the problems we have seen in first generation drugs. So this is second generation drugs, that means it comes under the oral administration case. The best drug is ampicillin, amoxicillin. These are both drugs is comes under the broad spectrum penicillin category. So ampicillin it's available in oral and IV. Both the cases both formulation is available. Amoxicillin it's mostly available in the oral formulation. Oral tablets and capsules are available. So it's very effective against the H flu and E. coli, gram negative bacteria. You can see here E. coli is a gram negative bacteria. So the second generation drugs are, even it is very effective against the gram negative organisms also. Apart from that, it is effective drug of choice for the listeria and enterococcus. So ampicillin is very effective against E. coli, protease and salmonella, shigella. So entire things, these are the all the organism, it comes under the gram negative bacteria. So this ampicillin is very effective against gram negative bacteria. So it's used for the dental prophylaxis cases, and those who are patients having ulcer due to the H. pylori. H. pylori mediator ulcer means for H. pylori kit. So if it is ulcer is occur due to the H. pylori means you have to make a combo therapy, then only you can eradicate the organism. So for those cases, you must to eradicate the organism, you have to control the wound healing process. So you can use multiple purpose, multi different class of drugs you have to use. Antibiotics you have used, then anti-secretory drugs, wound healing, proton pump drugs. So you can use the different class of drugs to treat the H. pylori mediated ulcer cases. So for that case, amoxicillin is one of the drug of choice. It's include the H. pylori. So apart from that, it's used in the UTI, urinary tract infection. It may constitute the E. coli and Shigella. So then meningitis case, typhoid, bacillary dysentery, and septimiosis, sepsis conditions. Then bacterial endocardiasis. So for this wide range of effect we can occur, for wide range of application we can use this ampicillin and amoxicillin. So adverse drug reaction wise, it's a non-allergic. Rashes may occur, it's a less number of cases. Around 90% case may occur the rashes. It may differ, not for all. It's based upon the individual. It may differ. So amoxicillin is better tolerated to the oral administration and better absorption is there. But ampicillin you must to take in empty stomach, because it may affect with the gastric acid secretions. So out of that, I want to say another one thing is, guys, for entire antibiotics chapter you have to just understood the one basic concept. So what we have studied, what I have mentioned here, these are the referred by our textbooks. So but currently the hospitals, those who are current scenario is made differ, because what we are studying that refer the textbooks, these are based upon they made in old data. But currently in physicians, otherwise hospital setup, the organisms may resistance with even novel antibiotics. So for each and every hospitals, they having a unique setup. They are made the specific antibiotics. So you know, you guys, you know that if any patients admitted in IP means inpatient means, particularly for any infection case means, they can directly go for antibiotics. Nowadays those who are sophisticated hospitals, they have first to take the samples, they can go for culture, then based upon the culture test they can try with the different antibiotics. So based upon the sensitivity they have found with culture test, that antibiotics has been prescribed to the patient. So it may take the 1 week times, maybe 3 to 5 days time. So the antibiotic usage is made different based upon the current condition. Whatever I mentioned here, this is based upon the data, old data. But the current hospitals, they have used individual protocols. It's may differ. Okay. So you don't compare with the current scenario, otherwise current hospital protocols. But even though you be a PharmD students, you must to at least update the what is the current antibiotics has been used for the organism, because so many current antibiotics and novel antibiotics are used for treat the even old organisms also, because that organism is may mutated and it's become more resistant towards the older antibiotics. So we can use the novel antibiotics and the rational combinational antibiotics we can use. So you don't simply stick on their this data, because application wise it's may differ. We are going to study this concept for just knowledge purpose. Application wise, that's entirely different. So you just understand that for not only for penicillin antibiotics, your entire antibiotics case, chemotherapy case, what we have studied, what we are using textbooks, that is very, very, very old data. So currently the treatment mode, otherwise duck of choices may differ. So you have to update when you are going to the clinical side, you have to update. That's the only things. Apart from that, we have studied in here subject wise, otherwise to just pass the subject, you just at least know this concept. This is a basic knowledge. But application wise, clinical side, if once you are going to real practice, you must be learn each and every day, like IT company, because each and every day so many changes happen during the treatment mode. So based upon that, you have to update the concepts. Okay. So then these are the important two drugs I have mentioned here, penicillin G and ampicillin amoxicillin. The next one is I can shift it to cephalosporins. Here cephalosporins are classified into 4 different generations based upon the So based upon the introduce the market, they are divided into 4 different generations: first generation, second generation, third generation, and fourth generation. So from each generation I have highlighted at least 2 drugs or 1 drugs. For important drugs, what are the drugs they have mostly marketed, mostly used drugs, I have highlighted in blue color. So if you have seen in the first generation drugs, cefotraxil and cephaloxime, particularly it's used for pediatric cases, pediatric cold and pneumonia cases. Cefotraxil dry syrup is available. Cephaloxime tablet capsules, they are prescribed. In second generation, the same thing. Cefaclar dry syrups is available, and cefotraxime. In second generation, cefotraxime, it's used. Third generation drugs, particularly the cefixime, cefeprazone, and cefotaxime, it's mostly available in the injection format. The fourth generation drug, cefepime, it's also there. So from each and every generation, it's some difference will be there. So you can see here the first generation cephalosporin, it's largely effective against gram positive organism. It's very effective against the gram positive organism. But in second generation drugs, it's effective against some of the different strains also. These are the drugs is less effective against the gram positive bacteria, and some efficacy against the gram negative organism. In third generation drugs, very weak against the gram positive, but more potent against the gram negative. So the scenario is totally changed. The third generation drugs is very effective against gram negative, weak against the gram positive. Fourth generation, it's very fight against even resistance gram negative bacteria. It's used for gram negative bacteria also. Particularly the resistant cases organism has been treated with fourth generation drugs. So the mechanism is same. It's a bactericidal effect to inhibit the cell wall synthesis. So kinetics wise, so few cephalosporins is administered orally. Most of them it's available in parenteral formulations. Half-life is very short, then excreted mostly through the urine, the same tubular secretion method. So its drugs are contraindicated with patients known with allergy and penicillin, cephalosporin and penicillin, because we know that all the scenario, anaphylactic shock, all those things may, such kind of contraindication may be, adverse drug reaction may cause. So that's a precautions we have to take. The major ADR, GAE disturbance, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, anorexia, that's a common thing. In CNS, headache, dizziness, lethargy, and paresthesias, numbness. Renal system, it may produce nephrotoxicity. Those who are having already renal problem, otherwise kidney failure condition, it may worsen the case. So it may produce the some blood cells fluctuation level. So it may produce the bleeding also, thrombocytopenia like condition. Particularly the cefeprazone and ceftriaxone, it's all the drugs, it may cause the bleeding effects due to the hypothrombins. Thrombin level is going to reduce. So because of that, it may produce the bleeding effect. Apart from that, here one of the interesting concept is that, so some of the drugs, cephalosporin drugs, it's produce the disulfiram like reaction. Guys, you know that maybe you have studied in second year basic pharmacology itself. So that as a disulfiram, it is used, the drug is used for the treat the chronic alcoholism cases. So this drug is going to inhibit the alcohol metabolic process. So the same kind of reaction has been produced by some of these specific cephalosporin, the particularly cefeprazone. That's one of the best drug which produces such kind of activity. So if any patients taking such kind of drugs, means you can advise the patients precaution. They have to avoid the alcohol and alcoholic products. The resistance, we know that the alteration of the target protein, it's reduce the affinity. We know that the target protein is transpeptidase. The affinity towards the enzymes may be lose, means automatically the antibiotics is going to lose the efficacy. Impermeability of antibiotics. So we know that the drug is may enter into the pores. So the permeability of the drug is reduced, means automatically the drug can't able to produce the such kind of effective action. So on the elaboration of beta lactamase, we know that the beta lactamase is one of the enzymes resist the against, sorry, it's worked against the beta lactam antibiotics, even penicillin and cephalosporin. So those organism is may produce different kind of beta lactamase, means those case your drugs may lose the efficacy. That means is going to destroyed by the beta lactamase enzymes. So uses, so those who are having penicillin allergy, particularly the penicillin G, natural penicillin allergy patients, they have shifted to cephalosporin, and it's mostly used for penicillin G, and the first penicillin derivatives are it's mostly used for syphilis and UTA cases and meningitis condition. But here the cephalosporin is mostly used for upper respiratory tract infection, particularly respiratory tract infection. Apart from that, it's used for urinary tract and soft tissue infection. So those who are patients met with accidents or diabetic foot ulcer, otherwise diabetic mediated any infection is there, means it's very difficult to heal. Particularly the patient met with the accidents is having a chronic diabetes and exposed with the organisms because it's a road accident. So those case the soft tissue is going to infected where, and healing process also is made delay. So those cases we can give this kind of cephalosporin to eradicate those all the problems. And it's very effective in the septimiasis, overall sepsis condition. Entire our body is going to sepsis condition, means it's a very critical. So once the open wound here it's become untreated, means it may lead to the sepsis, septimiasis. So the organism is going to enter into the blood circulation, is travel to entire body. So entire body it's going to form a sepsis, means that's very difficult to cure. So that case, that gram negative bacteria mediated things means we can use the cephalosporins. It must be combined with some other antibiotics, example aminoglycoside antibiotics, and it's used for surgical prophylaxis before surgery to avoid the exposure of organism, because it's during surgery it's may susceptible for the exposure of some organism. So if you want to overcome the issue once it's occur, means it may produce some typical critical conditions. So avoid such kind of activity better. So avoid such kind of things better. We can administer the drug prophylaxis manner, means we can avoid such type of problems. And apart from that, it's used in the treatment for gonorrhea and chancroid and typhoid. And also it's effective against aerobic and anaerobic infections. And yeah, summarization: first generation drugs is very effective against the gram positive. Second generation less gram positive and increase the gram negative. Progression is going to start. The third generation predominantly it's a gram negative, very less amount in gram positive. Fourth generations it's effective on both, particularly. So those who are organism, what are the organism? It's may resistant organism has been treated by the fourth generation drugs. So I have mentioned some of the important drugs. Cephalexin, it's available in the both oral and IV, susceptible for Staphylococcus and penicillin mediated organism has been treated. It's mostly effective against the E. coli and the Klebsiella also. So administration, it's a drug of choice for the surgical prophylaxis and the bacterial peritonitis, inflammation on peritoneal cavity. So Ceftriaxone, it's available in the IV and the oral. So it's extensively used for the pediatrics. Particularly, mostly the cephalosporins are prescribed to the pediatric case. It's very effective against streptococcal pneumonia case, because upper respiratory infection, flu case, flu and meningitis, even brain meningitis condition also we can use the Ceftriaxone. So it's and also it's used for community occurred pneumonia cases and urinary tract infection and gonorrhea. So it's resistant against the beta lactamase enzyme. It's good amount, it's going to reach the CSF. That's the reason it's effective against the meningitis conditions. Cefotaxime, it's available in only on IV formulations. Spectrum against the pneumo and Neisseria and the gram negative organism, particularly upper respiratory tract cases, infections. Those who are organism it cause upper respiratory tract infection. Those case we can use the cefotaxims. So it's also cross the triple B. It's very effective against the meningitis condition because it's cross the triple B. That's the reason it's used for meningitis cases. And complicated urine tract infection and bacterial peritonitis cases, we can use treatment for meningitis condition and H influenza, pneumonia, and meningitis case. These are the applications. And cefotaxins, yeah, same. These are the things same. Cefepime, it's a fourth generation. It's available in only on IV, both gram positive and gram negative staphylococcus influenza. Particularly, its resistance against the beta lactamase enzymes. Half life is very less, 2 hours. Its good amount is reach the CSF, and its penetration of soft tissue is very effective against gram negative signs. So I said already, those who are having critical wound, so critical conditions, chronic diabetes and wound, very difficult to heal the wound. So for this, for those cases, the soft tissue is going to infected in a very fast manner. So for this case, your antibiotics high amount is going to reach the soft tissue. Then only we can eradicate the those problems. So this is one of the drugs. It's the best choice to eradicate, to compensate, otherwise overcome the those problems. So it's a treatment for the septicemias condition and nosocomial and respiratory infection, hospital occurred infection and respiratory urinary tract infections. For those cases, this is the cefepime is the one of the drug of choice. So the next two drug is comes under the same category. Beta lactam antibiotics is carbapenems and monobactams. So these are the different kind of drugs: carbapenem, imipenem, and meropenem and entrophenem. So it's effective against the gram positive organism, particularly the resistant and susceptible organism. That is a short description of the penicillin susceptible and organism. Then methicillin susceptible staphylococcal aureus and vancomycin susceptible enterococci. So this is a short form of the condition. So it's very effective. For you just remember that it's very effective against the gram positive, particularly resistance cases, resistant organism also it's very effective. So even it's very effective against the gram negative organisms also. Distribution similar to the penicillin. The renal clearance is eliminated through urine. So adverse reactions, hypersensitivity reaction is there, rashes, urticaria, it may produce. So the imipenem, it's rarely it produces seizure. So those who are having already this kind of problem, convulsive patients, it's contraindicated with imipenem because it may cause the epileptic conditions. In high dose, it may produce the renal dysfunction. The same thing is contraindicated with kidney failure patients. So the resistance mechanisms, it's may imipenem is going to decrease the production of outer membrane protein. So because of that, it's the resistance is going to happen. And efflux mechanism, that means the once the organism, sorry, once the drug is enter into the cell, means it's once again it's effluxed by the cell. So because of this phenomena, the drug can't able to produce the antibacterial activity. So that's a scenario. So the next last one is monobactams. It comes under the fourth drugs. It comes under the beta lactam antibiotics. The drug is important drug is Astronome. This spectrum wise is only gram positive aerobic bacteria. So it's mostly it's resistant against the, these are the strains. Kinetics wise is well distributed in tissues and inflamed, particularly soft tissue infections. Elimination is excretion through the urine. So rarely it's produce skin rashes. No cross reactivity with beta lactam class of drugs. So even you can administer with the other drugs, it's no produce any cross resistance. Otherwise, adverse drug reaction doesn't produce any reactions. So these are the pictorial representation for the different cases. So these are the pics. It's available in Google. If you just surf in Google, means you can get the different kind of things.